Deep in the mountains, silence hides something long forgotten. A place where even maps refuse to remember its name. An abandoned village left to rot, untouched by time. 30 families once lived here, but no laughter remains.
Only the church stands, scarlet and silent. The inn waits for no one. At its heart, the well watches.
This was the village that should never have been found. At the center of the village lies a well, older than the village itself. They say its stones whisper in tongues no man can read. Those who dared to look inside never saw themselves again.
Instead, another face stared back.
Not all who vanished left willingly.
The well does not drink water. It drinks us. Return. One stormy night, a lone traveler stumbled upon the village.
He was seeking shelter, but something else was waiting.
The place seemed abandoned, yet every shadow moved. Drawn to the inn, he stepped inside, unaware of the curse. The villagers were gone, but their lives remained untouched.
It was as if they had vanished in the middle of a breath.
Yet, the village was not empty.
Something was still there, watching him.
House after house stood open, as if waiting for him to enter.
Meals untouched. Families vanished mid-bite.
The children, simply gone.
They hadn't planned to leave.
But the village reflected someone else.
They hadn't planned to leave.
Every home whispered his name. Traces of life, but no life to be found.
And now, the village had a new guest. Beyond the church, the forest was not just alive. It was watching. Every tree carried marks of those who had disappeared.
Their flesh had become the forest.
And from the trees, a door began to take shape.
A threshold to somewhere no human should go. The forest did not give paths, it gave only traps. And the trees chose who would enter. Behind that door lay the truth of the vanished. door. The world no longer obeyed.
A path that led nowhere, yet pulled him forward.
Nothing remained. Behind him, nothing remained.
Forest offered choices, none of them real.
Every step dragged him closer to the lost. The vanished were not gone. They were waiting.
And the path swallowed him whole.
But in the silence, another step followed his. His shadow was no longer his alone.
Something walked just out of sight.
It did not stop when he did. And soon, there were many. The vanished had found him. The shadows had chosen him. And they would not let him leave.
Everything vanished. And there stood a door where no building had ever been. It waited as though it had been expecting him.
A door with no back, only forward.
Something was behind it.
It knew who he was.
It showed him the village before it vanished.
Welcome home!
The door had not opened to another place. It had opened to another time. The village had returned, as if it had never vanished.
But something was wrong. No one blinked. They were here, but not truly alive.
They all looked at him, as if recognizing their newest member.
The village was breathing through him now. The bell called them, the same way it once called the lost.
Every face turned toward him, his face.
Welcome home, Hamza.
The village had not returned. It had reborn itself through him, barely alive. Days later, someone crawled out of the mountains. 3 days later, a man was found wandering near the mountains. He couldn't speak, only repeated the same symbols seen on the village trees.
They're watching. They're choosing us. He spoke as if the village was still inside him.
He remembered the door and the faces that wore his own.
Every line he drew led back to one thing, the well.
It's calling again.
And then he was gone. And this time, it's moving closer.
Weeks later, fog began to crawl down from the mountains again.
Poor guy lost his mind.
They never believed the survivor.
But his words were already coming true. It began again, quietly. Echoes of a place that no longer existed. The village was finding a new home.
It rebuilt itself from memory and blood. And the lost had returned proud, wearing familiar faces. Welcome home. The village of Naran never vanished. It only moved closer. It followed me!
The village hadn't vanished. It had moved and brought him with it.
A week later, something surfaced from the mist.
If you're hearing this, it's already too late. The voice belonged to Hamza, missing for 3 years.
The village doesn't die. It remembers. It wears new skin every time.
It's looking for listeners now.
And then the voice began to change. It knew who he was.
Welcome home.
The village had found a new door through sound.
And once you hear the voice, you become part of it.
Don't stop listening. We're almost home.